Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Stephen. I'm a traditionally published fantasy author. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a roundup about what's going on with my news because I've just had a holiday, had a bit of a rest, had a break, and I knew that when I came back lots of stuff was going to be going on. I've got lots of PR things in the build up to launch and the publication of my new book. Now, as I say at the start, I'm a traditionally published fantasy author. I've had 7 books traditionally published so far to date, 2 trilogies with Orbit Books, and now a new duology with Angry Robot Books. And in last year, depending on when you're watching this video, in 2021, the first book in the duology, The Coward, was published, and now we're getting very close to the publication of the sequel in August, and this is The Warrior, and this wraps up the series. It's a duology, it's all finished, it's all done. So if there are any people who are waiting for a series to be finished before picking it up, which isn't good for many reasons to do with the publication and the business side, but I won't get into that, but if you were waiting, now is the time to pick up the series. Previously I did an introduction to The Coward video where I gave the basics of what the story, the setup, the premise, and kind of explained a little bit about it. I am going to do a separate short video about the introduction to The Warrior because it's the second book in the duology and it's a bit different, but obviously if you haven't read the first book it's going to have a lot of spoilers in it, so I'm not going to do that here because it would kind of give the game away. But what I'm going to talk about today is some of the other stuff that I've been doing. So last week I went and signed the special edition hardbacks of The Coward and The Warrior. These are done with Angry Robot and The Broken Binding. If you've never heard of The Broken Binding before, they're a UK publisher of special editions only of existing books. They do all sorts of fantastic books. They do signed books with book plates, sometimes signed editions, and they do special editions of books. So they've done sort of John Gwyn's Malice. They've got a subscription service where they've done so far Joe Abercrombie's The Blade Itself trilogy, the First Law trilogy, and then they've just done Jen Williams. They're doing 1 book a month for 12 months, and they've got other special editions where you don't need to be a subscriber, you can just buy them. So they're doing special edition hardbacks of The Warrior and The Coward. They're available now. I should say there were 500 done of each. You could buy them as a set, and as of time of recording there are only about 40 left. I will put a link down below, so it's a case of first come first served, and I might have to take the link away if all of the remaining 40 sets are gone. Earlier this week I went and signed all of them. Now there are 2 ways with special editions you can do this. There are one where they'll send the page, the signing page, to the author, sometimes called just the signing page or the tip-ins, and you just send 500 of these or 1,000 to the author. They'll sign them all, they'll send them back. The publisher will then bind those into the books and print the books, and then they're ready to go out. Because I knew we were getting close to the date of when the paperback was coming out, we wanted it so that the people who ordered the special editions would get the hardback ahead of the paperback. And this includes getting the hardback of The Warrior before the paperback comes out in about 3 weeks' time. So I went to the fulfillment centre where they're going to be sending out the books from, and I signed the lot. And I've put some pictures up here so you can see what I've been doing all day on earlier this week. And there's a full stack here, a full pallet full of all of the Cowards, and I signed all of them. We went through so many Sharpies, and the same here on The Warrior. You can see this massive wall of books that I spent most of a day signing. There were also some very, very limited edition slipcase versions of The Coward and The Warrior, and they sold out in about 40 seconds, so they're completely gone. However, I have a set here so I can show you them and you can see what it's like. So it's got the kind of beautiful foil embossed on either side for both versions of the book. It's very sort of sleek and stylish with the black all the way around, and just look at that. They're absolutely amazing. Sprayed edges with the gold and the silver, identical covers, and they're just absolutely beautiful specimens. And there were only 52 signed, lettered versions of them, and they went in, as I said, in seconds. But I managed to get a hold of a set myself because I'm the author. I have to say, as much as I love the sort of super special editions, I've got a real soft spot for The Coward and The Warrior in this kind of blue and green with the sprayed edges, and they've also sprayed a section of the map on the edges, on the pages, and they just look absolutely fantastic with the end papers. There's a quote on the back of the book which no one has seen so far, one from each of the books, and even when you take the dust jackets off, the sort of foiling and the design is absolutely incredible. And this is done by the same designer who designed the original covers. This is Kieran Tyler, who works for Angry Robot Books, and she's just absolutely phenomenal. She's done some fantastic work for myself and a bunch of other people, so I'm absolutely delighted with these books. A couple of other things that are coming up. There's the launch of the publication of the paperback of The Warrior. This will be an in-store physical event that I'm doing in Birmingham in the start of August. So I'm looking forward to that, going and meeting people. There's been, a few bookstore events recently in probably the last year or so, but before that, because of the last two years really, it was difficult to go in stores and do things and meet people and sign books. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So if you want signed editions of The Coward or The Warrior, they will be available from Forbidden Planet, where we're doing the event. But also, if you're not in the UK and you want to get hold of signed editions, the Broken Binding ship internationally their special editions and signed paperbacks. So I will sign those for them because they're actually quite local to me. So if you're somewhere else in the world and you want a signed copy of The Coward or The Warrior in paperback, I will do that for you through the Broken Binding. Events, as we build up, and I'm doing lots of PR and things, I'm also going to a few events. In sort of middle September, there's FantasyCon. This is the annual UK science fiction and fantasy kind of convention organised by the British Fantasy Society. I'm going to be there for the whole of the weekend. I'll put a link down below. If you're in the UK and you want to attend, you have to buy a ticket and you can come along. I've put my name forward to be on some panels, so I might be there talking about things, but otherwise I'll be there hanging around the hotel, the convention hotel, for most of the weekend. Then on October the 22nd, I'm taking part in an online writing workshop alongside some other great fantasy authors. This includes RJ Barker and Anna Smith Sparks. We're each going to do a workshop on a particular topic. There'll be some other things coming up. There's a link down below to that as well. And hopefully we'll be able to talk to each other at some point, do some kind of panel or just chat, the three of us, and get on and have, because I've met them but many times, but able to talk to them about topics and things, that'd be really fascinating. And then later on in October, I'm going to BristolCon. This is another one-day UK convention. Every year takes place in Bristol, which I've never been to before. Everyone said it's really, really good, a really good event, so I'm looking forward to that. Getting to meet other writers, talk to them about craft, because as much as fun as it is talking to other people and trying to explain stuff to them, if they're not writers, at a certain point, their eyes just kind of glaze over. And if you're struggling with things and you're trying to talk to your friends and family and they're not writers, they sympathise, but after a while they just don't get it. So being around other writers is kind of energising, and it feels really good because they're part of your tribe. They understand all the trials and tribulations. They understand the publication side. For me, as being a traditionally published author, we can get into all the kind of nitty gritty about all that kind of stuff. And it's so much fun. And I really look forward to meeting all of these people again that I've seen online and talked to for many years, and getting to talk to them in person. So that's going to be a fantastic day. So once I've done all those events and all the PR and all the kind of blog posts, and I'm doing some stuff with some booktubers to promote The Warrior, which you'll see coming up in the next few weeks, which I'll link to. That takes us pretty much into October. Then I've got the physical events in the UK, and then something else will be announced in the UK because The Warrior is done and I've been busy writing something else. So maybe there'll be some news in October. Watch this space. I will link to it when it arrives. I'm going to post another short video after this one, probably tomorrow or the day after, which talks about The Warrior and gives a bit more information about it with spoilers. So if you haven't read The Coward or you don't want to know any of the spoilers, skip that video and I'll be back to another video in the following week talking about something else. But that's all I'm going to talk about for today, but I'll be back very soon with another video.